For page 2A, we're going to make a triple flap page. So you need 3 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock, and you're going to cut one at 7 by 8.5 and 2 by 7.5 by 8. Okay, so let's take the first one of these, a 7.5 by 8. This is going to be our left flap, which will be on top. 7.5 by 8. We're going to score the 8-inch side, put that in at the top. Score your 8-inch side at a 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is our left top flap. Okay, like that. Then we're going to take the 7, that's the smaller piece, 7 by 8.5. That's the right flap, and we're going to score the 7-inch side, put that in at the top, and score it at a 1/2 inch. And I know these are all different sizes, but that's the way I wanted it to look. After all, this is a Adventures in Magic book, so it's going to be a little bit different. Take your second 7.5 by 8, put the 8-inch at the top, and the same as the other one, we're going to score the 8-inch side at a 1/2 inch. Okay, that's all we need for this one for now. So let's grab a page, a base sleeve page. And again, it's going to be open from the sides. So let's take our left flap, which was the 7.5 by 8, and it's going on the left side here. And we're going to center it top to bottom. So glue on that 1/2 inch attachment flap. Got our opening here on the left. I'm going to line the fold of this one up. I'm going to bring it out just a little bit. I'm not going to put it all the way flush because I want to give a little room here, like a 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to center it pretty well, top to bottom. I need to drop it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, make sure it's straight all the way across down here. Go ahead and burnish that. Open it up and burnish. Make sure it sticks. Okay, so then our right flap. Did I put the wrong one on? Oh, that's right, 7.5 by 8. 7.5 by 8. Then this one, it goes up here. So I'm going to put this other one on the right flap, which is going to match up with this one. So glue on the 1/2 inch. I had to stop and think a minute and look at my notes. I'm designing this and planning it as I go, but I do take notes, so kind of need to do that. So this one can go ahead and go all the way to the edge. It's just that I need to bring this one over, and let's match it up. Scoot it up just a little bit. There we go, straighten it up. Sure it lines up top and bottom, and then burnish your hinge down. Just like that. And then we have one that comes to the top. And I am going to miter this a little bit so that it's not overlapping the others and too bulky. So that's going to go right there. So we put the glue on that 1/2 inch. Now I want to do something a little different with this one. I want to make it kind of interactive, like with the map, with elements that have magnets. So I got to make sure I place magnets everywhere I want them. Burnish this down. Get the excess glue out of there. Okay, so there's that one. Because I moved this one in, it kind of cuts into that. So I'm going to leave it on there, but I am going to just, in my trimmer, I'm going to close these up, and I'm just going to slightly trim off that 1/16 of an inch there. See if we can, 1/16 of an inch. Just on that flap. So that it now clears. This is the sides. So I'm going to put it down like this. Okay, so just need to snip this little piece off. Okay, so it's like that. So now I need to plan my pattern paper and my pieces that I want to go in here for this one. So I do think I want here to match what I did on the last page. So I'm going to grab the red. So I'll probably mat this and then put the pattern paper on it to match the other side. But then the rest of it, I may not double mat. So I'm going to go ahead and plan all that and come back and show you what I'm doing. So go ahead and plan and cut your mats and pattern papers for your triple flap page. So let me show you real quick what I've done. I did the red, which is a firecracker red mat for this one, and measure your flaps and line them up the way you want them. This one here is 7 1/4 by 7 1/4, the red mat. Then this is trimmed down to 7 wide by 7 tall. And so I use this to match the other side that we finished. And then when you flip this up, because this goes on top, I decided to do the red here, here, here. So this is the same size as the one I just gave you. This one would be, for me, I decided to do it also 7 1/4 tall by 7 1/4 wide. So those are all the same. This I just did in the green with no matting. So it is 7 1/4 wide by 7 1/4 tall on that one. And this one up here is your, looks like 8 1/8 wide by 6 1/4 tall. So I just did the mats on those. This one here, I'm going to explain what I'm doing with this. None of these are glued down. They're just temporary because I want to add my ribbon. This is where I wanted to do the map thing. So you've got the Hogwarts map, and then you've got the different areas, and then create little movable pieces that you can play around with. So these are from the 8x8 cut-aparts. It's got the train, the chocolate frog, the snake, the car and the tree, the Quidditch, I don't know what it's called, and the castle. So I'll show you how I did this. Now this is not attached down, so I'm using an 8x8, I think. Let me check. Now I used the 12x12 paper of the blue stars because I wanted it on the back. So I cut that out at 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Double check. Yeah. And then I used the 8x8 map. And then I glued down, well, I haven't glued down, or have I? No, not yet. I will be gluing down. But underneath, I laid out where I wanted my maps, my pieces to go. I've already done them all, but these last two, and I'll show you these small magnets. So I did put magnets on the back of each piece. Okay, so I don't have the magnet here for this one. And I want this castle where it says Hogwarts Castle. I kind of want it right in there. So peel the backing off your little magnet. And I just lift this paper up, holding this down, just the map. And I know I want it about there, so press it down. So now it's stuck there. And I did this for all of them. So pull the backing off again. Get the sticky side. This one is going to go where the Quidditch patch is, just about the stadium, about right here. Lift up the map. Grab it where you want it. And press down on the paper. So that's where those are going to go. Then what I did is these are already all done. You want to put a backing on these. So I just glue, because you don't want your magnets coming off. And just use any color scrap of cardstock that you have. Glue that down. Burnish around that magnet. Do this one. Whoops, I didn't show you. Put it on the cardstock and burnish around it. Glue on the magnet. Right here. Make sure you burnish down your pattern paper piece, your little tags. Get everything burnished down really good. And once it's dry, then you re-fussy cut around them, because I fussy cut around all of those. And I decided not to leave a border. So I just recut around all of these. So this will be a fun, interactive little piece with the different images and elements here on the map. Of course, you could just leave this whole page for photos if you needed to. So I just thought I would show you this if you want to do something a little different for an interactive type album. And of course, as you can see on these flaps that are opened up, you have a lot of room for photos there. I cut that little knobs off. Accidentally cut that one. Okay, so like this one fits here. Of course, we've got to glue all these down. But first, we're going to put the ribbon tie on, because I don't want my flaps falling open when we turn the album pages. This is my last one to do. And yeah, my fussy cutting is not perfect. Don't worry about it. Unless you have a dive machine that can cut this, like a Brother Scan and Cut, I think. Okay, so this one goes up here. Now then, off camera, I'm going to glue all this down, and then, oh no, first we do our ribbon. See, I almost forgot. So this is going to close. This can go this way and this way, whichever you want, probably like that. And so we do want the ribbon under this one over here. So I've cut probably way more than I need. 16. I've got about 24 inches, so I know I don't need that much. So I'm going to take my tape, piece of tape. I'm going to lift this one up. It's just on the temporary. There we go. And I'm going to put my ribbon tape about right here. You want the ribbon coming off the side here. And we've got to catch it. Let's go ahead and glue this one on so it's covered up. Make sure I'm putting it on the right direction and line that up. Oops. A little crooked here. I don't want that. Get it straight. Okay, that's better. I'm going to glue the pattern down. That's on the temporary also. Okay, now the ribbon for the other side. So we're going to lift this up. It needs to be held. This one, I think, would be the good choice. Okay, line it up. But we want it to come out to the right. So make sure you do that. Just lay it out that way. Some more tape. And we'll go ahead and put this paper down. Just like to put some glue underneath that ribbon. Okay. Make sure we get it going the right direction. Tape too far over. So peel some of that back if you do. Yeah. Okay, finish that one down. Okay, so now I'm going to glue the rest of them on, but I'll show you real quick. All we have to do is just tie this. And like I said, I probably have way too much, but I can save the other ribbon pieces for if I do any tags. I'm not sure yet. So see how big a bow I want. Then I'm going to tie this knots in the end. Snip that off. That one ribbon got really crinkly. I left it overnight, I think, but it'll flatten out. So that's how it's going to be held down. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of these down off camera. And then we'll be ready to work on page 2B. For page 2B, we're going to make a double photo pop-up. So first we want to make a flap. So I have cut one piece at 8 7/8 by 8 1/2. So there's your 8 1/2. Turn the 8 7/8 to the top, score at 1/2 inch. So I cut this so it'll be about 1/8 of an inch shorter on the width side of our page so that you can see that there is a flap there. So this is going to go on the left. Put this. Set that aside. You have cut out 3 pieces. This is all out of cardstock. 1 1/2 by 4. Put the 4-inch side in at the top on all 3 of these. We're going to score at 1/2 inch, 2, and 3 1/2. 1/2 inch, 2, 3 1/2. And the last one, same, 1/2 inch, 2, 3 1/2. These were all cut from scraps. Then this one also had, this as a scrap. This was a 9 by 6. Put your 9 in at the top. We're going to score it in half at 4 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and fold that one and burnish like that. And go ahead and grab these and burnish these. Fold them all in like this. So you've got the one in the middle and the 2 little 1/2 inch on each side. These will be the bones of our pop-up. Okay, so next we'll put our flap on, and then I will pause and decide what pattern papers I want. We have all of those. So let's grab our page. This is page 2. So there is our 2A. Make sure everything's the right direction. You got your opening sleeves on the side here. Okay, so we're going to flip it to the left, and we're going to put this right here on the left side. So it's opening away from the hinge. So glue on that 1/2 inch attachment hinge. Line it up on the left side. Make sure it lines up on the bottom. And at the top, I'm going to stand it up. Make sure everything's lining up. Give it a burnish. Open that up. And burnish. Okay, so we have the flap on. Now with this one, I think I'm going to do a magnet. I'm going to do a big magnet, so I'm going to grab that right quick. So I have a magnet set, pull the backing off of one. I'm going to put it here about 3/4 of an inch centered. I think one big one would be enough. Pull that backing off. Let's close the flap shut. Open it up. And grab my Scor-Tape and secure it with some tape right there. Okay, so now I'm ready to pick out my patterned paper. Because we do need to put that down here on the inside before we build our pop-up. Okay, whoops, I had a lot of glue right there. Let me wipe that off. Burnish it down. Okay, so let me get my pattern paper together. Okay, so I went ahead and cut and glued everything down for this page 2B. And I decided to mat this. I wanted to use the chess piece papers on the inside and the outside. So I used craft paper to mat. So here on this side, I cut it 8 1/8 by 8 3/8, the matting part. I used the 12 by 12 paper. No, actually, this is the 8 by 8, sorry. 8 by 8. So I used these, cut it down to 7 7/8 by 8. And then when you open it up on the inside, and also make sure you're doing the right direction, this is the 12 by 12 paper. I did not mat it, so I cut it at 8 1/4 wide, about 8 3/8 tall on this one. This one is 8 1/8 wide by 8 3/8 tall. Then I wanted to bring in the craft, so I just cut 8 3/8 tall by 1/4 wide and glued it right along the edge of the patterned paper. I didn't want to mat the whole thing with craft. So I've got it like that because this piece here, I cut 2 craft mats to fit on these. So my mats are 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Now we're ready to put our component in. If you look real close on my page here, you'll see a line in here, or possibly, maybe you don't. I put mine in, the first one in, and I realized I had it too close to the center, so when I pulled it up, it had already dried. It kind of tore the paper here, and I don't want that. I didn't want it showing possibly underneath, though it probably wouldn't. So I cut out from scraps the squares and just covered up where I messed it up. So anyway, we've got these 3 pieces here. So we have folded up like this and burnished the lines. So you do this one in the center, then the 2 1/2-inch ones toward each other underneath, so that it looks like this. When you turn it on its side, you see you've got like a teepee shape. Now we're going to glue this about in the middle. Now I'm going to see where I want my page element here. Okay, so about here. Now this is what I did wrong. This piece here you're going to glue, but you've got to keep it about a 1/2 inch from the center. You don't want it right there. You want it like 1/2 inch from the center. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that is where we want it. But we want this kind of centered over it. So I'm going to put glue on just one of the 1/2 inches. Okay, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so in the center, about a 1/2 inch from the fold would be right there. I'm going to clean that off and burnish. There, I don't want it showing. Okay, clean off my glue. So you see here, from the center fold, I have a 1/2 inch. So that's good. Now I'm going to flatten. This one's going to go about the same distance. So I'm just double checking. I'm going to do it real quick and look. Put your glue on the 1/2 inch again. I'm going to flatten it down over itself so it sees flat like that. I'm going to close up my page, and I'm going to look real quick and see. Yeah, so that's where it should go, pretty sure. I'm going to go ahead and close it up and let it dry. Peek at it, yeah. So that is how you position it. So now when I open it up, it is in the about a 1/2 inch from the other side, and this is in the center. Okay, yay, that's what I did wrong a while ago. I put it too close. Okay, now we take our second one. We're going to do it here on this side. And we're going to glue just on one of the 1/2 inches. And we're going to line this up to the top edge here. Off that glue. So that 1/2 inch is on the inside, but it is glued up against this one, and we're going to let that dry for just a bit. Okay, so you see it's glued like that to the top edge. Okay, once it's dry, take this one, open like this, push it to the left, like fold it in half, and I'm going to put glue just on the 1/2 inch section of the little hinge. Got this folded in half, and then I'm going to close my book, and I'm going to let that dry. So hang on and let it dry. Okay, once it's dried for a few minutes, just open it back up, and you're going to see that this one is kind of flat. This one's kind of got a slight angle, and that's what we want. So we're going to take the third one, glue on the 1/2 inch there, and glue it to the right side, right along that center. Make sure you let it dry, so, and that it's straight. I'm going to reach in there and kind of burnish, put my finger or thumb underneath. Let it dry. If you don't want too much glue there, if you flatten it down a little bit, it'll help kind of pinch it. So see how you just have the 1/2 inch glued right there. Off any of that. So let's just wait a few seconds as well on that one. Okay, so once it's dried, fold this one in half. Okay, put your glue on your hinge. Got it folded like that. I'm going to kind of hold it a little bit, keep that hinge down, and then fold up the book. Flip it over so I can press it down. Let that dry. Okay, so when you open it up, you've got it looking like that. So you've got two flats here, kind of slight angle. It'll look like that when you hold it up. Okay, so now we're ready to add our double photo mats. So when we fold this, you're going to want the center fold of your mats right there. Now, in different sizes, you can put them up or down. I'm going to center mine pretty much. So I'm going to fold it in half, closed, and I'm going to lay this, and I'm eyeballing it. You want it straight with that center. And I'm putting glue just on this square. The flat one on the right. Okay. Now I've got this lined up where I want it. So I'm going to put right along the fold of the mats, right along that center. And I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to reach under here, kind of give it some, make sure it doesn't move. Get that centered and get it attached. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put this glue on this flat piece on the left. Make sure you're not getting glue down in that fold there. Right. Then I'm going to fold this over and attach that. Kind of straighten it just a little bit if I have to. It looks a little crooked there. Let that dry. I'm going to fold it up, press it, let it dry. Okay, so now when it's dry, go ahead and open it up. And ta-da! You have a pop-up. Double pop-up like that. For two good-sized photos, you could put small photos here. I'll probably do add maybe some decorating. I don't know. I like how that looks. Lots of fun. So that is page 2B. So we have 2A and 2B ready for our book.